Unbelievable! This is
The Grove Podcast.
Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 134 of The Grove Podcast. Now, I hope you're all doing very, very well. It's Saturday, early afternoon here. And as Arsenal fans, I'm sure you're pretty good after seeing yesterday's game, and we strolled to another win, our 9th in a row. We didn't concede again, and we are comfortably top of the league. So what's not to like? And joining me today to look back at that game and to just be very happy, and I think it's sort of a bad joke waiting to happen with me as an Italian and a Scotsman and an Irishman. On the pod is Mos, back from his travels. Mos, how are you, and how was Malaysia and Indonesia?
Hello, doing good. You confused me a little bit by saying it was Saturday afternoon, early afternoon, because I thought we haven't kicked off yet in that case.
Oh, did I say Saturday?
Yeah,
I meant Sunday afternoon. Sorry, Sunday
I just thought,
afternoon.
why are we recording a podcast and talking about 7 clean sheets when that's not even happened yet? But
well, because it's obvious we're going to win 2-0 and we're going to keep a clean sheet. Same old.
yeah. No, doing good, thank you. And travels were good. Loads of really nice places. Tried to do a scouting mission, but couldn't see anyone that was worthy of taking any of the starting 11's place. That's for sure. So I'm back empty-handed.
Indeed. And to finish off the bad joke is Ian, aka Ask Cannon Picks. How is you? Fresh from paddle? Did you win?
Of course I won, Tabs. I am the Arsenal of the paddle world. I didn't even concede a point. You know what I mean? That's how good it is at the moment. But yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. I haven't been on a pod with Mos for a long time, probably since we did the community cast. Actually, I'd say, is it?
Indeed.
But yeah, so looking forward to it in fine fettle.
Excellent. Good to hear. Glad to hear. So as I said, in today's show, we'll review yesterday's 2-0 win over Burnley. We'll do our usual stuff. We'll also have the new feature, getting the listeners and followers 3-word reviews. And then we'll also have a look at, have a laugh at Tottenham, look at the league table, see how things are, get your thoughts on what might happen. And then we'll do a quick preview of the Champions League game against Slavia Prague. And I have done some prep for that, but even then, there's not a lot to say. So we'll see. So before we get on with the episode, as always, if you can give us a bit of a rating on the podcast apps, leave a comment, like, subscribe, follow, all the usual stuff on the socials and the podcast apps. That's really appreciated. It helps with the algorithms, helps get the likes of Mos and Ian into the ears of the uninitiated and the less fortunate, and who doesn't want more Ian and Mos in their ears on a daily basis? So so do that, please. It's appreciated, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Let's get on with the show. And as we always do, we'll go through our highlights and lowlights of yesterday's game. And we'll start with you, Mos. Mos, what was your highlight and lowlight of Arsenal 2, Burnley 0?
My highlight of the game was just how there was one part of the game where I think we had conceded a corner and the ball was kind of loose in our box, and then we managed to get it to the Burnley half, as we do, and then all of a sudden we lost possession again. And I just thought, this is where, in your mind, you think this is where you concede these stupid goals. You've just all went from one end of the pitch to the other, and you end up conceding on a counter attack. But I think every single player, bar David Raya, ran back, and I mean sprinted back to defend. And that just shows not only the fact that the players are determined to keep this run of clean sheets going, because it gives confidence, and it ensures that if you score and the other team don't, as Michael Owen once said, you will win the game. And also it just shows almost the passion and the pleasure that the players have to play for this very fine football club. So that was my highlight. My low light was charging my car at Gretna Green service station. I went to a place called Chopsticks, which is like a noodle bar type thing, and they had no chicken, so the lady just offered me either rice or noodles, and I thought, well, yeah, it was a bit gutting. That was the only low light.
That's the only low light was your lunchtime choice. at a random takeaway in Gretna Green.
There's no chicken in the place that sells. It's like KFC running out of chicken. It's kind of akin to that. And so that was the low light. So that just shows you how good a day it was when.
So was there a massive social media storm about this, like there was when KFC ran out of chicken?
I don't think so. I mean, I was going to tweet about it to my 3 followers, but I thought no one's going to care.
I once, sorry to cut in, I once, after an Arsenal game, went to a KFC in Islington, and when I walked in, I was kind of looking at the menu, and the girl looked at me and she says, "You're not looking for chicken, are you?" And I was like, yeah. It's like, because we don't have any. And I was just I was dumbfounded. But yeah, it does happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the Chicken Podcast. I'm glad you're here. All right. And Ian, what was your highlights or your highlights and lowlights from yesterday's game?
My highlight was just, especially in the first half. Second half was a bit of a non-event, but how fluid we were in the first half and how many kind of chances we created. Like, we haven't been like super adept at creating open play chances in the last little while, and Saka should have had a couple of goals. And I know the first goal was obviously a set piece, but we carved Burnley open quite a few times, and I liked that, because we haven't been able to do that all the time this season so far. So that was kind of a hopefully a sign of things to come. My low light, kind of nitpicking a little bit, but I didn't like what Trossard did in terms of kicking out at the player, because if he had made contact there and gotten a red card, it would have been for dangerous play. It would have been a 3-game ban, and in a world where we are, like, as we know, absolutely distraught with injuries all the time, especially with Martinelli could be missing a few weeks, that could have been like really bad, especially again with you could stick Eze over there, but we're short of players enough as it is up top. If he had gotten a 3-game ban, I think I would have flown over to London, found him, and slapped him across the face with a glove. So that was my low light.
Yeah, it was a bit petulant. It's sort of what you get with him in a way, the rough with the smooth. I think he was a bit annoyed because it should have been a free kick and he was just getting pulled and pulled and pulled. And maybe as Mos, did you think it was a red card? He got away with it. Did you think?
Yeah.
How did it feel? Did you see it clearly from where you were?
Not particularly, but you can tell from the reaction sometimes of players that are involved or players that are around. And he was lucky. And I think, as Ian said, it was very stupid. I mean, I know it's not the same as his sending off against City for time wasting, but it's almost like that kind of thing. If just avoid getting yourself into those positions, and don't let the referee make a decision, essentially. To have the chance to send you off. And it was silly. I mean, it's not going to derail a season if Trossard gets sent off, but if you have 2 more injuries, we've seen Zubamendi and Gyokeres. I know, we'll touch on that, but if you have a couple of injuries in the next 2-3 weeks with the amount of games coming up, especially with run up to Christmas, then that could derail the season ever so slightly.
Yeah, it is that sort of dumb thing, and this is sort of, again, this is part of why I think, and we'll touch on it later, is why this season is potentially our season, because not only do you have to be very good, and we are very, very good, you need to have some luck and you need things to go your way. And he would have been sent off last year, for sure. They would have found a way. This year, it just seems like these little things, these marginal calls, some things like just going our way. He doesn't make contact, or he doesn't do enough to get sent off. Whereas, I don't know. It's just, again, just the little soft factors that might be going our way. That I would think in the past we might have been done for. And you're right. Look, we're without Odegaard. Nelly's out, Madueke's out, Gyokeres we're unsure, Havertz out, Jesus out. We're decimated on our front line. For him to be out for 3 games, it would be. And we saw the impact of one of our forwards, our primary forwards at the moment, not being in the game in the second half. So I think it would have been, just one of those dumb things that we're sort of waiting to happen, and it didn't happen. We've got through another game without something dumb happening, and this is why I sort of like think the footballing gods are potentially, eventually, smiling on us and looking on us kindly.
I know we always talk about you need luck to win competitions, and do you think that this season, though, we don't even need that much luck because of how good we are. Because it always crosses my mind that, you do need luck. You need to stay injury free for your best players, and you need to sometimes win games, like for example against Newcastle away when we won in the very last minute. I wouldn't say that was 100% luck, but
No.
there was an element of luck in scoring a last minute winner against Newcastle at the
Yeah,
at St James's.
I think no matter how good you are, you just still need some things to go your way. Like Liverpool were really good last season, but they had no injuries, and City and Arsenal weren't there. So whether you call it luck, whether you call it things falling your way, yes, I think. But as they say, the better or that quote, I can't remember who it is, like, the better I get, the luckier I get. There's that. So I think it just comes with the territory, and then there's also a mindset in terms of around you and this aura that you create, that all the best teams, you can feel that they get decisions go their way, or they get sort of treated a bit differently. And we've had it with Man United, and we've had it with City. So if you have that element of there, whereas Arsenal are no longer soft, so therefore if someone goes down, it's fine. Whereas when they were younger, they're just soft, and the referee plays on. It's all these subconscious sort of things that happen. So all of us, a bit like Newcastle get away with stuff because that's who they are. All of a sudden, you change that sort of narrative, and you become a different team, and things go your way, and it doesn't last, and then things revert to the norm. But you've seen it over the years how the top teams who win stuff have things just go their way.
Do you think? And I'm sorry, we're digressing,
No,
but
no, 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 it's fine. It's a good chat. I like it.
it's just things that I sometimes lie in bed or when I'm having a shower, I think about.
I don't want to know what you think about when you're lying in bed and having a shower.
It's
Please,
usually
it's not that.
Martin Odegaard when he's having a shower.
Exactly. It's not that kind of show. It's not that kind of show.
Sweet Prince Martin. I hope he's okay. Just very quickly on Martin Odegaard, I felt so sorry seeing that video of him in the international break when everyone was celebrating for Norway and he was just sat on the bench on the little bench in the dressing room. I felt so sorry. I just wanted to go and pick him up and
Give him a
let him
hug.
celebrate. But do you think that teams such as Arsenal and Arteta and the backroom staff can shape how lucky a team can be, whether it be through injury prevention or being a little bit more clever? I know that Arteta potentially is using, sports psychologists in a much higher regard and whatnot. Do you think there's a way to tune the amount of luck you have as a professional football team?
Ian?
I think you can, and one of the big things that I think Arteta has changed this season is his own behaviour in terms of coming out speaking to the media, um, and not getting involved in arguments. Like, that's another reason why I was glad Trossard wasn't sent off, because like these things can snowball. Arteta would have to come out, like he might have a go maybe at the officials for the decision, but we've avoided all that. And I'd say Arteta would get. I'd say he gave our Trossard like a kick in the ears because of what he did. But I do believe that they try this, as Tabs is saying as well. The phrase is, the more you practice, the luckier you get. So I just think that like Arteta is saying to his players, look, guys, we're this good now that we can just do our thing, look after what happens on the football pitch, and not get involved in any of that nonsense. So I do believe. Look, again, all the sports psychologists are being used as well, but I just think we're that good that maybe you don't need that little bit of luck either, but sometimes you do.
Yeah, indeed. So in terms of my highlight, I picked out three here, expecting you guys to pick them up as well. So I'll go through them just to create talking points. So I mean, the first and foremost for me was Gyokeres' performance and his goal, and it seems like the rest midweek did him good. But not only did he lead the line really well, and he did all the good things that Gyökeres has been doing, making the runs into the channel, being a nuisance to the opposition's defensive back line. He was really involved in the build-up a lot more, and he showed some nice touches, in particular for Saka's first sort of one-on-one, where he chested it and put it through perfectly in one movement. And he also set up Saka's other chance, so the pace and the timing of that ball, and then even that for the second goal, second goal, that crossfield pass was just superb. And the more you look at it, the better it gets. So I think he had a really, really good performance yesterday, and I'm not bothered that it's in only Burnley in inverted commas, because if he does that against 3/4 of the league, I'm here for it all day, and I'll take that. And Arteta was sort of eulogizing. He said it's not only the goal, it's the performance. I think the first half is one of the best games that he's played with us. He was exceptional in every single department, and then he went on to say that unfortunately he did come off at half time. There was a bit of a debate of why. Arteta said here he felt something muscular, so we have to wait and see of the extent of that. But overall, very happy. Now, there were some people saying that was that. There were some people saying he got a smack in the head. So we don't know. But then he put on Instagram last night, not the ending we expecting, but luckily it was just a little accident knock on the cheek, and I'm perfectly good and ready for the next. So
He deleted that. He deleted
oh,
that.
Oh,
Quite.
really? Was that after he went, oh, ow, my leg?
Yeah, no, he went out because Arteta kicked him because he was like, "We're supposed to pretend you're injured."
Yeah, I said it's your bloody,
It's a muscle injury. Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
Can I just say something
yeah,
on Gyökeres, if that's okay? I think
yeah.
I was very impressed with how he played in the first half,
Hmm.
but there was a lot of murmur that this is against Burnley, and we want to see him do this against teams like Tottenham. In 3 weeks' time, we want to
Well,
see him do it against teams like Liverpool
uh,
and Man City and Sunderland and Bournemouth, who are also title
yeah.
candidates this
I,
season.
I'm gonna push back on that a bit, because the only reason he's playing all the games at the moment is Havertz is injured, and I still maintain that Havertz would be our number one centre forward. Gyökeres at 65 million is a very good supplemental player. You don't sign someone, he's not our primary centre forward. The only reason he's playing so much is because of Havertz. And I think the big games like Liverpool, like City, even Man United, we would have started with Havertz, and Gyökeres is a good option. So if all he does is beats up the bottom half of the table, the worst teams, great. It gives Havertz a rest, and he's ready for the bigger games. So as I said, I don't care. It's only Burnley, because again he's a part of the squad, and we use all the squad to win all the games. Again, this time last year, West Ham, who else was it? Fulham, and other such games, Newcastle. You know, we weren't winning those games, and now all of a sudden we are. So it doesn't have to be about the Liverpools and the Cities and the scum and Chelsea. If it's everyone else, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I
Plus,
said, it's not like you're spending 130 on Isaac or 100 on Ekitike, where that expectation is there. 60 odd million, you know, he's a good option. Go on,
yeah,
Ian.
yeah.
Sorry.
Plus, I kind of agree with what you're saying, Tabs. I think you have to obviously factor in that he's just signed for the club. He's getting used to his teammates. I think he played very well. I know it wasn't a Man City or Liverpool, but I think he played very well away at Newcastle. But I think he was unlucky in terms of playing against Liverpool and Man City so early in the season as well. Like, give him a bit of rest, and say after like if we were playing them now, you might get a different performance than he did against
Yeah.
Liverpool and Man City. So look, and we played him twice every season, so we'll see that later on in the season. But I think he's been like about what we should expect at the moment. A few goals, him getting used to it. Like before, like that kind of chest down and knock off to Saka. I used the word fluid earlier on, and that's
Yeah.
what he was. Whereas in the early games, he was kind of clunky. He maybe was trying to make an impact. He was desperate to make an impact, and he would he'd hold up the ball, or for too long. He wasn't quick with his movement.
Yeah.
So I think there's just an element of getting used to the league, getting used to his teammates. And as you said, Tabs, if he only scores against 3/4 of the team, so be it. And we get those points that we didn't get in previous seasons. So yeah,
Yeah, that's true. I think
Yeah.
also there's an element of him maybe thinking, Havertz is back soon. He wants to try to impress, as any footballer
Yeah.
wouldn't they? If someone else is coming into their position,
yeah.
it'll be so good to have two options. It really
Mm.
will.
Absolutely. So the other highlight is at the other end of the pitch, and I think it comes to what you said, Moz. We defend as a team, and it's a bit of a cliche, but we do. And they want to they want to have a clean sheet as much as they want to score, and every player from the front, middle to the back, apart from David Raya, who's basically could work from home at the moment. They want to keep that clean sheet. So they're all do that, and it's another clean sheet. I think the stats going around. That's 11 hours and 26 minutes, which is 686 minutes in total. So we haven't conceded a goal since the 34th minute against Newcastle. And that's just insane. And in that time, Man City have conceded 4, Man United 5, Spurs 8, Chelsea 7, and Liverpool 12. and it's just insane. And I talked about it with Kosiva the other day. This aura, and I think teams just. And I was talking with a mate about it this morning. Teams, how do you? And I'll mention it later. How do you play against Arsenal? What do you do? Knowing that it's going to be so hard to score a goal. What do you do? And that's just another clean sheet, and it just builds on that. The only problem with that is the more clean sheets we have, the more likely we're going to concede a goal sooner or later, because that's how it works. But for now, I'll
When
take
when
it.
do you think genuinely? When do you see us conceding? I mean, I know a fluke goal like Burnley's free kick right at the death that could go in, and that's a clean sheet record gone, but you still win the game. But you look at the fixtures.
Yeah.
Obviously we played Tottenham, Bayern, Chelsea. That kind of run of 3
Yeah,
could be.
even Sunderland, who knows? And we'll get to Sunderland in midweek. But yeah, who knows? It can happen anytime. Dumb stuff happens. It could be a freaky goal. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't. No, even yesterday though, they had the chance with the header. Potentially, we got a bit sloppy. But yeah, no, we're not giving up anything. I
I'm
said
just
one.
thinking what happens if we go through the rest of the season and don't concede a goal.
I mean, bloody hell! In 4 games, 1 shot on target, and even that wasn't a shot on target. That was just grazing Eddie Nketiah's head, and Raya got it. I don't know if remember that there was a moment in the Palace game. Cross came in, Raya actually took it off Eddie Nketiah's head, but because it touched Eddie Nketiah's head, that
Yeah.
was considered a shot on target. That's the only shot on target that we conceded in the last 4 games.
Yeah,
Uh,
it might be written in the stars that Granit Xhaka concedes, or we concede again with him scoring, but we'll win. We'll win 4-1, so it'll be fine.
Well, exactly. He can have a consolation goal. That's
Yeah.
that's fine. And look, and the highlight was, and we are boiling more piss than the ocean can hold with this. Not only are we not conceding, we scored another set piece goal, and when it went in, I didn't celebrate. I laughed. When it went in, it's just like it's getting ridiculous. Teams might as well give us a penalty rather than get the ball out for a corner, because it's just ridiculous. And I just looked at it again, and a couple of things about it. No, we get, everyone talks about set piece, blah blah blah. No one talks about Rice's delivery. So good, so on the spot. And then Big G, he was getting pulled, he was off balance, still got his foot to the ball, got it back, and that's we scored. Was it? We scored 8 goals, 8 league goals via corners this season, making it the most ever by a team in the first 10 games of a Premier League campaign. I mean, the records keep breaking with this team, and it's just, I don't know. I'm finding it now amusing. It's just getting ridiculous. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, it's.
I,
No, go on,
sorry.
go on, man. No, go on, Mos.
I was just going to. You guys have probably seen this tweet, but there was a Liverpool fan that tweeted yesterday, and it got quite a lot of traction. He says, "At what point do you just say enough? Why should we accept this as our league winners? They've literally scored more corner goals in open play. Is that even normal? What's happened to the league?" And then the first reply underneath is an Arsenal fan who says, "Except you'll take this, Dick, whether you like it or not. Bow to your champions."
Yeah, I saw that, and it's the whole narrative is around it is stupid. And actually, again, I was talking with a couple of mates who aren't really on social media, who don't follow all the narratives, and they're not trolls and all the rest of it, and they were actually very sensible about it. So what's wrong with being good at set pieces? Yeah, they don't understand this nonsense. Why wouldn't you be good at set pieces? What's wrong with it? So it's just trolling. It's just there to provoke, and it forgets the fact that, well, why do we get so many corners? Oh, it's because we're attacking. You know, don't. Or why do we get free kicks? Well, stop kicking us. It's a nonsense narrative, and long may it, boil the piss of many naysayers. And in terms of, like, again, the clean sheets, we're so defensive. We're the only team that parks the bus in the opposition's half. So it's just getting ridiculous. So yeah, I'm all for it. So those are like really sort of three key highlights from yesterday. In terms of the low light, Gyökeres' injury. Let's hope. It's nothing. Even if he rests up against Czech. Sparta Prague, then he needs to be back for Sunderland. Zubi also got subbed. He got asked to be subbed off. And just the main thing about the Gyokeres injury was that how it impacted the second half performance, and we'll get onto that. And the other thing was Saka and his shooting boots. Yeah, he left them at home yesterday.
And I captained him on fantasy football as well. And I was about to captain Gabriel as Normie did. Or someone did. I think it was
Normie. It was Normie. Yeah.
And I thought Gabriel or Saka. I thought no, Saka against Burnley. Surely he scores a couple here. And every single chance he was missing, I was like, right, the next one. Ugh.
I took out Gabriel last week because I thought he was injured, and I keep forgetting about FPL, and he was on my bench. I left 18 points on the bench yesterday from Gabriel and Guehi. So a bit annoyed with that, but there you go. If we win the league and I don't do so well in FPL, I'll just about take it. So
that'll be it.
So look, no, that's good. I mean, onto the game itself and the lineup. I think the only real doubt was Saliba, and look, even then, if Mosquera came in, I don't think anyone would have been too concerned, would have been worried. But he seemed to be. He obviously Saliba was fit to play, and that's the third Premier League game in a row where we've had the same starting 11. How many times? Well, I don't know if you've seen the notes or not. If you have, if you have, you haven't. How many times do you think we did that last season?
Well, I'm going to cheat. I see the notes, so I'm going to act real clever. I reckon we only did that once last season, did we?
Well, Ian, spot on. Well said.
Well said.
Right, well, name me the two games then.
It was Fulham away, followed by I have no idea.
I didn't bother doing that research either. But yeah, again, like first 10 games of the Premier League, and we've managed to do back to back, same team. I think partially that's due to actually injuries, and I don't think Arteta would particularly want to do that. But it also helps drive some of the consistency, drive some of the things about Gyökeres around other players, building those relationships. So
I think also we need to remember that we're also playing midweek as well in different competitions, and so being able to play your best, in inverted commas, your best 11 in the Premier League, and then for games like against Slavia Prague midweek, you can maybe bring in folk like Marino and Mosquera, Ben White, who are. I'm not saying could be in our best 11, but you know what I mean by that, right? So
no, but they're very good players.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it helps that we have that at our disposal, so we can play the same lineup in the Premier League because we have the ability to make as many changes as we can for midweek games.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but also, and this is kind of on the flop side of that. Yes, we can make changes for, like, in inverted commas, kind of lower games. Not that a Champions League game is a lower game, but we kind of low key have no choice in a small way to play in the Premier League with the 11 that we've been using, because like we've a horrible injury record this season. That's going very much unmentioned amongst the media and rival fans. Like, we're doing incredible stuff considering the injuries that we have this season, and I think that's played a part in us playing the same 11 in the Premier League. But you're right, Mos, to have these players to come in for a game like Slavia Prague, like that's a great squad.
Yeah, but what you say, Ian, is a testament to how good our subs are, that no one's talking about, the Arsenal injury record, because, so for example, if the players we had on our bench weren't as good, everyone would be talking about it, saying, Arsenal's injury record has led them to play the same team and, whatnot. But because these players are so good, I don't think anyone's mentioning it, not Arsenal fans or rival fans. And I don't think there's a better, in fact, I know for sure there's not a better bench or even a second 11 in the Premier League. Like, you look at Liverpool or Man City, or their second 11, ours could comfortably win a Premier League game against a mid-table team. I don't think anyone else's could.
No, our fringe players are coming second, so we're winning. We're going to come second again. It's just that we're also coming first at the same time. So it's all,
we get double the Champions League money. Get in there.
Get it, and then one other team loses out, so that even better.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, yeah, our squad is by the best you could say even in Europe. We were struggling to see one that in every position you got two, possibly three players that are of such a caliber, such a quality. No, it's nuts, and it's insane. So it is testament to that. So look onto the game itself. The stats sort of say it all. And, we had 54% possession to their 46. We had 2.47 XG to their 0.42, 12 shots to their 3, 8 shots on target to their 0. 4 big chances to their 1. We missed a couple, they missed 1. And things like, we had 23 touches in the opposition box to their 11. The amazing thing about those stats for Burnley is that none of those stats, all of those were saying 0 up until 70 minutes. 0 expected goals, 0 shots, 0 chances, touches in the opposition box. I think it was like 2 in the first half, 9 in the second. It was 70 minutes. It's just incredible that we held them out. They just had nothing. And yeah, so that showed what a performance it was. And so look, Mos, I just come to you, and you were there, so what was your overall thoughts on the game itself, on the performance, on the result? How did you feel about it?
It was almost like a cigars and slippers kind of vibe to the game. It just seemed like we didn't really move up the gears as much as we could potentially against bigger teams. I think the game plan was quite evident. I think Ian, you'd said it in the group earlier. You said, and you kind of got me excited when you'd mentioned, we scored early, the floodgates would open. So I thought, right, I've got my money's worth here. I'm going to see 4 or 5 goals. But I think as soon as we scored the first, you could just tell we wanted to just control the game, limit Burnley as much as possible, limit the amount of hard work essentially Arsenal players were putting in, to stop themselves getting injured, and the stats show it. But it was just one of those games where, the majority of the entertainment, shall we say, came within the crowd. Folk, slipping with their, you know, hot dog or burger or whatever in hand up on the stairs, or just just various just away end antics, as you guys can imagine. And it just seemed like one of those games where even afterwards, sometimes, like for example, Tabs, when we were at Newcastle away, the emotions, I know you were only there for 10 minutes, but the
The
emotion.
best 10 minutes of my best 20 minutes of my life. That was super.
Yeah, I won't tell your son that for his whenever he was born then. So, but no, it was a weird feeling almost, because when I was driving back home, you normally have that adrenaline pumping, and you normally have that feeling of, oh, you can breathe again, because it's a high intensity and high pressure game. But this was just so simple. It was a breeze. Like the biggest stress, like I say, was the fact that chopsticks run out of chicken.
Excellent. Yeah, you're right. Calm and controlled. Ian, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say too much extra on top of that. Like, unfortunately, I was not the game. I was able to sort Moz out with a ticket, thankfully. So I didn't make it there. But so I watched the first half on a very dodgy stream, and it was in and out. The second half I saw in its entirety. I wish I had been. Oh,
That's a shame.
yeah, I know. I wish I had been the other way around. But I thought we put in a great first half performance. It was a real shame that Saka missed his couple of chances, because it could have been, the bloodbath that I was describing in the group. But I do like that we're controlling these games, and we're able to take players off, and we're able to rest players when it's needed. And like these save us later on in the season. Like we're able to say, take minutes out of legs, and that's really important. It's an underrated part of what we're doing as well. If we can kill games early, and we don't concede goals, we don't even concede shots on target. So get ahead early, and that's what we did. And I was very happy with how we played.
I'm quite
Yeah.
surprised that we never made subs a little bit earlier on in the game. I think the first subs came with maybe 20 minutes or so to go. I remember looking up at it.
Apart from the Gyokeres one, but yeah. And,
Sorry, aside from that, but as in tactical subs,
yeah.
to rest players. And it was interesting that he brought off Eze and Calafiori as the first two subs. I don't know whether I would have maybe rested someone like a Declan Rice, or maybe Saliba, Gabriel. It's just it was interesting. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it's interesting. That these players got 90 minutes when we have so many fixtures coming up.
Yeah, yeah. I think game state 2-0 is still, we're comfortable. I think 3-0, then it's different. Dowman comes on for Saka, and maybe, but maybe it's also the high stress positions. Saliba and Gabriel. It was a run. It was a jog in the park, so they're not stressed.
True.
Rice, he was on one, and maybe you just don't take the rhythm. And also Zubamendi comes off, so all of a sudden, if you have to take away Rice and Zubamendi and Eze, then you're changing the whole three of your midfielders. So you
Yeah.
need to have some continuity there. Um, yeah, I think had it been 3-0, maybe a couple, maybe Saka would have come off a bit earlier. So and look, they know the fitness of these players, they know the game state, what they're putting in, what we need for the rest of the game, and all the rest of it. So it's just sort of one of the things it is. We get all stressed about it, but you've got to just trust their judgment that they know what they're doing. And so far, I mean, yeah, it was a very calm, controlled performance. For once, we're playing 2-0 football at 2-0. Never really, and then once we went 2-0, we never got out of first, second gear, which meant it got a bit sloppy at times in the second half. I think also the fact that we had Marino up front rather than Gyökeres, that made a massive difference to our second half in terms of there was no one, there was no outlet. Marino comes short. There was no one pushing the line, so the defenders knew that, so it was an easier game for Burnley. So yeah, it was sort of a game of two halves in that respect, but also we didn't really have to try that hard either. And the one thing I was thinking about though, and look, people said it's only Burnley, but they've only lost once at home in the last 18 months. They've only let in 2 goals in 4 home games this season. They kept Liverpool at bay until a dumb penalty at the end. So it's not a given that we go in and cruise it and all the rest of it. So yeah, I think it turned out easy. And that's fine, but that's also down to how we are and how clinical we were in a couple of those goals. But just one thing, and I think I was going to mention it earlier, is that imagine you're a manager facing Arsenal. Like, how do you prepare to play Arsenal? And again, I was talking with a mate over coffee this morning. He actually brought this up. He says, how do you prepare to play Arsenal? Because we can play long, we can play short, we can play low, we suffocate, we've got set pieces, we've got open play goals, we're probing, we're pressing, and it's just, and also we don't let in any goals. If you low block, we'll get set pieces. If you try and attack, we'll tear you apart. How would you do?
I, I, I don't think teams
But where's
know.
the weakness?
Well, there's not a weakness, not at this moment in time in this phase of the season. There might be a weakness that comes in, later the latter stages of the season, or when we've got more games and potentially injuries or whatever. But I think teams are playing to almost just get a point, and then maybe a smash and grab type scenario where they can maybe nick a goal. And I think, I know we play Sunderland, and we've got a couple of games in different competitions before Tottenham, but I think that'll be the real test. I know Tottenham are absolutely horrible. I mean, I'm sure we'll mention the stat that we were
Yeah.
discussing last night at
Oh
some
yes.
point, but they're absolutely horrible. I just think that they will be the first team that we're up against that will really know maybe how to play against us. Not necessarily win, but they'll maybe have a different approach to what the likes of Burnley and Sunderland and these teams are doing. I just don't
Yeah.
think I'm being as respectful as possible to professional footballers because I am not one. Um, but I just don't think Burnley and Sunderland players are good enough.
No, but any team that comes about, Atletico Madrid that comes along, and look, we saw what we forced City to go and play defensive. They didn't want that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Liverpool changed the way they played.
Yeah.
Liverpool changed their way they played to play us. Yeah, we weren't the boring ones. They're the ones that decided to go against their usual play. And there was a moment yesterday, I think in the first half. Trossard was sort of in the middle of the park and was towards the front line. Eze was between the lines. Calafiori was doing Calafiori things. Timber was inside Rice. Rice was at right back. It is like how it's not quite total football of the Ajax team, but it's sort of like if you're an opposition player, like you mark him, Yeah, but don't ask me to mark Calafiori. Okay, that's all I that's all I ask you not to do, because I can't be playing left back, right wing, left wing, centre forward in the matter of 5 minutes. But so it just shows how well coached we are and what a great job Arteta's doing with these players. So I think just that combination, we just be, and imagine when we get our play. Imagine what we'd be like when we get
Get our
Rudiger
players back.
back,
Also,
Havertz back,
yeah,
Madueke back.
yeah, and very interesting. In today's world, we all love our comps, of players. But a comp I'd love to see is opposition managers post match interviews, because all they're just sitting there kind of going, well, because I don't know if you heard Scott Parker yesterday saying they're just a really, really good side. They're just so hard to play against, and nearly all the managers are saying that straight after the games. They don't know what to do. They have no idea, because for all the points you've made, if they try and go one way, we'll just go another, and they don't have answers. And I would love to hear that compilation of all the managers just saying how good we are.
Well,
I
yes,
think one of the biggest,
Simeone said it as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, Simeone. Yeah, they're all
it,
saying every manager who faces Arsenal, they're just saying they're like, these guys are just they're nearly saying these guys are too good. Like there's nothing that we can do about them or
go
against
on,
them.
Mos.
I think one thing that I've noticed as well this season is that we are so different in how we play, and teams aren't doubling up on Saka as much anymore, and so they're having to put one in the box for Gyökeres, for example, and so
Mhm.
it's just allowing us to be more expressive and play with that freedom that we've always been able to do, but teams have nullified that threat.
Mm.
But there's always this thing where we need to watch out for, and I'm sure the coaches are aware, but for example, Liverpool last season, they were found out at some point in the season. Man City a couple of years ago, I'm sure as well, when they were playing differently, they were found. I mean, when Haaland, after 2 seasons, he was found out, and teams could then play against him easier, and he wasn't scoring 4 goals a game every single week. So I think teams will learn a way
Yeah,
to
of
play
course.
against us, and someone will lead the way with the blueprint. But I think our players are still good enough to be able to then adapt. And the other thing I was going to mention was, Ian, you hinted there towards potential like an arse comp pick or that sounds really, really wrong, doesn't it? But
Well, whatever I need to do to make some
So
money.
so a compilation of asses, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Okay, there we go.
of the
Right.
opposition managers in
So
post-match press conference,
a compilation of opposition managers' asses after the Arsenal game. Is that what you're asking for?
walking out from the press conference. Yeah, just that.
I
Two
love that.
seconds.
I love how that's what you took from what I said.
Well, he's thinking about lying in bed and being in the shower. So there we go. Right. Anyway, family show, family show. Right. Anyway, on to the game itself. Just like a couple of the moments. Like so. Okay, we took the lead in the 14th minute. I think the first 10 minutes were a bit cagey, bit dull, feeling each other out, and then bang, another set piece, perfect delivery from Rice. Gabriel steers it back in, and Gyokeres left unmarked, empty net. You know, 1-0, and yeah, it's you're thinking, okay, that's half the job done. But yeah, we had chances to score more. There was in the 21st, Calafiori had a chance. He could have taken it the first time. He sort of dallied a bit, got a shot off, but it was saved. And then there was the sort of the two Saka chances. Um, do you feel he should have scored one of them? One of them that I said was when Gyökeres put him through 1-on-1. He sort of telegraphed going far post with his left foot, and then the other one I think it was a Dubravka save, and then followed up with a Trossard getting it cleared off the line. Mos, was it?
The
Yeah, how was
Dubravka
it?
save was good.
Yeah,
It was a good save, to be fair. He's a good keeper, actually. He's a very
yeah,
good keeper. He's
yeah.
I think the one where, yeah, the one-on-one being put through by Gyökeres, I
Mm,
just think if, yeah, I don't know what it was.
mm,
I feel like maybe it's not fair to say, but
mm.
was he, were the players not in that kind of game state where they're on such high adrenaline, and
Yeah,
it's not one of those games, and so if that's against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, for example, he scores that. I just don't think
yeah.
against Burnley. But players
I
have
know what
off
you mean.
days. Players
Yeah,
players have off days. Haaland's had, Mo Salah's still missing. I think he scored yesterday, but
yeah,
so players do have their
yeah.
off days in games, and let's not forget as well, Saka has played a huge amount of minutes, and
Just recently, yeah.
yeah, and he's coming back from his injury, which is not easy for someone who has that. He's not fast, but he's got that explosive kind of acceleration, to cut away from players. And so I wonder how much that affects him as well. There's a lot of players though that's the case within our team.
I think Saka will be disappointed. I think he's always disappointed. But again, ultimately, it didn't matter. Again, it's Arsenal being relentless, just constantly going. And again, if you leave space, we'll create chances. And eventually, now we go 2-0 up in the 35th minute, and it's another goal from a set piece. It just happened to be from a Burnley set piece. So Burnley throw in, and guess who's there involved? Gabriel with a header. Clears it to Saka. Saka gets out to Gyökeres. Gyökeres takes the ball into opposition half. Beautiful crossfield pass into space. Trossard runs onto it. And then man of the match for me, and we'll get on to him, Rice, steaming in. Great cross, great header, 2-0. Game over. And yeah, it's just like, yeah, I mean, were you thinking that it was game over, Ian, at that point? I mean, what did you think of the goal?
Yeah, I thought it was game over at 1-0.
Yeah, too.
But no, once we get the second, because we had as you guys were talking about the Saka chances, so you're expecting even more chances coming. So yeah, 2-0, you're thinking, yeah, that has to be it. You can never say it's over, but the way we're playing at the moment, and it was a thing of beauty. It was a great, I know I saw some people online saying that the Gyokeres pass was actually meant for who was running through the middle? Eze, was it? Was Eze? I can't remember.
But if that was the case, it was a terrible
Yeah,
pass, and it was massively overhit.
Now I'm going to ignore those people and say it was meant for Trossard into space, and Trossard, who I think has been one of our best players. Like we all thought this, like one of our best players this season. We all thought that he was probably gone. A lot of people were saying we should have taken the 20 million that was offered in Turkey there? Yes.
Yeah.
So and he's been brilliant for us this season. He took his time, picked out Declan Rice and a bullet header. And you're thinking at that stage, game over, aren't you?
Yeah, indeed, and yeah, and look, you're right, Leo. That's another goal contribution. He's putting out the numbers this year, and he's just I think he made 100. That's his 100th appearance or something about that. The amount he's given to us. Fairly. He's a low key type of player, but he's there in moments. He's scored. He's assisted. And to think we could have had Mudryk. So I think that was an interesting sort of sliding doors moment to go. And just on again, and I think again we said this on the pod. I just wanted to bring up something around these set pieces, and I just forgot to mention this before. And Maresca, and this is like the opposition managers, because we said it on the last pod about the people in the game know and they respect what's happening, and Maresca, they're not the ones going, oh, bloody Arsenal scoring set pieces. He says. Maresca said, and I don't really like Chelsea being right in any way, but he said if you score from a corner, how do you get the corner? From open play. It's not a divide. Open play, offensive, defensive. It's football. Set pieces are part of football.
Yeah, I hate this. Facts. I hate this narrative. I hate it because there's other teams. There's teams that I've watched. When you watch Match of the Day, there's teams that take long throw-ins into the box and score, and it doesn't involve Arsenal at all. But just because Arsenal are winning their games, they've not conceded any goals. They're top of the league, and no one wanted them to be there, and no one expected them to be there, apart from the Arsenal fans. It has to become a talking point. I mean, Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher and all these pundits are talking about it. But why are you not talking about it when Crystal Palace scored against Liverpool from a set piece, or when Brighton scored against Man U from a set piece? Why is that not a talking point?
Or when Liverpool scored, Liverpool won 3 games this season scoring from set pieces. At least 3 that I can think of. So, I don't.
And now we're dangerous from opposition set pieces, so there's just nothing you can do. Just don't bother turning up. Just give us the points and fuck off. Yeah. And there we go.
I've got another trivia question for you guys. I know we did one off here, but again,
that wasn't trivia. That was.
That's his finger first. This is not trivia either. This is just as you mentioned, Trossard's goal and assist involvements. Yeah. Name the 2 Arsenal players from the lineup from the starting 11 yesterday who have not registered a goal or an assist this season yet.
Raya
and
goal or an assist.
Timber.
No, he scored 2.
Oh, sure, of course he has. Yeah, against Leeds. Yeah.
Timber has 2
Saliba,
goals.
Billy's.
Brian Saliba.
Saliba.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there we go.
that's a
Quite
good
a few
stat.
scored every day. Yeah, very good. So good job. And look, we didn't need any of those stats yesterday. In the second half, again, I think the main difference in the second half was Gyokeres going off. It just changed the whole style of play. It emboldened Burnley. We were 2-0 up. I don't think we got complacent. We were managing the game. But Arteta wasn't that happy. He said in the second half we dropped the standards, especially with the ball and with our intentions to take more risks and play more forwards. And I think I sometimes like these moments when we don't play well because it doesn't happen again, and so they're less impactful. He'll see that he won't be happy, and he will give them a rollicking for that performance. And I'm actually not too bothered when these things happen because just as long as we win, and even like things like the Liverpool game, losing 1-0, there's something he learned from that about the substitutions, um, potentially, and just something about that. And maybe it's what shaped our season. So sometimes these bad things help shape the positive things that happen later. Um, and as I said earlier with the stats, Burnley came into it, from the 73rd minute. They had that header, but I don't think the player was getting over the ball. We also had a couple of chances when Emery looked sharp when he came on. He had a shot, had a couple of shots. Norgard had a shot and stuff like that, well saved. So it got a bit end to endy, and then we had the shot in the last kick of the game, Burnley free kick. Gabriel diving in, getting yellow card, bit annoying. Didn't need to happen, and that comes off the post. So game over. We lost a bit of control, but yeah, I think it's fine. So 7 clean sheets in the Prem, and yeah, all things looking good. I said we talked about the aura. Any players that you want to talk about? Anyone else that stood out for you or didn't stand out?
Yeah.
Mos, when you
Oh,
go
sorry,
on,
go
go
on.
on in.
I,
No, go on in.
I'm going to be very, very cheeky here with Mos and all his questions. I have a question. Who played on the pitch yesterday? No, I have to say that this. I heard this on, I think it was Phil Costa on the Arsenal Vision pod. Who was on the pitch yesterday? That apparently this is true. Is the second highest goal scorer for Man City this season.
Uh, yeah, he scored 2 own goals. Esteval.
Yeah, or as every time he got the ball, they were all, because it's spelled like ESTEVE, so they're all going Steve,
Esteval.
Steve. But apparently,
Steve.
he's Man City's second highest goal scorer behind
Yeah,
Haaland.
he is. He's got 2. He's got 2 goals. Yes.
Yeah, but
Um,
actually no, you were going to give that to Maz. Well, the actual question to Maz: who stood out for you, Maz?
or didn't stand out. Who
I didn't.
who were you disappointed at? I know you're like a disappointment, but maybe pick a positive one this time.
Tabs, we're top of the league. We've not conceded a goal since Jesus was a boy. Yeah, it's why do you think I'm back on the podcast? Why do you think I've been asking you every week, get me back on? Because I can be positive for once. I was disappointed with Saka, but only because he missed, his chances.
You won't be as disappointed as he is with himself. Okay, that's what he was saying.
Exactly, but I can't say it was a huge disappointment. I think maybe this is really critical. Maybe I'm looking for this, but I
Yeah.
want to see more from Eze. I want to see the Eze that we know is there from Palace, and I know it's so hard to integrate into a team, especially because he was signed it all happened quite late, and I wonder if that has a factor, because he's planning his season with Palace, and then suddenly Tottenham are involved. He's then planning his season with God. I feel sorry for the guy for he's to go through that. But and then
He's
he's had
He's
to
crying. He's crying
but
into.
it's almost like he's playing for. It's almost like he's played for 3 clubs in his mind, and so I know it will take time. But I want to see more from Eze, not just yesterday, but I want to see more from him. I know he scored against Palace last week, but I just want to see him involved more. I want to see him on the ball more. I want to see him do what he did for Palace, but for us.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because the role he had for Palace was very different, and the way Palace played was very different. How often would Palace play against a low block, 11 men behind the ball? He'd obviously be the one where on the break, give the ball. He's the main man there, so he would always have the ball. He would all be looking for him. Now he's part of a wider team, and they're all really good players. And I just think, yeah, I'm with you. Still a little bit underwhelmed. I think he's great on the ball, but I think off the ball, defensively, he's never going to reach the standards that we want, and maybe the good will outweigh the bad in that. But even attacking wise, his positioning of the ball, I think he sometimes hides a bit. He's not finding the right spaces to receive it and stuff. And again, that's part of the relationships, figuring out how we're going to play. So yeah, there is an element of being in your new team, and he's in the Odegaard role, and this shows up how much Odegaard does in terms of his just pass and move, how where he's on the pitch, he picks up from the back, he takes it forward. Yes, we get frustrated that he may not be scoring as much, maybe not creating as much, but you just cannot miss him on the pitch. Whereas Eze, I think, goes a bit missing at times, but I think he's finding his feet, and I think ultimately he'll score goals and he'll assist. Like you said, he won us the game against Palace, so it's not a bad thing. I think eventually when he goes out on the left, he's going to be an upgrade on, say, Trossard. You know, he's going to sort of be there, and that's going to be his more favoured position, coming in off the left hand side. The way he receives the ball, the way where he can attack is slightly different to the role he's being played. So you can sort of forgive it, but you could still maybe, okay, but you're a really good player, so we want a bit more. So I don't know if you feel the same way, Ian.
Yeah, like we spoke about Gyokeres, Victor earlier on in this, and I feel the same with Eze. Yes, I agree with both you that he's been a little bit underwhelming, but he's getting used to his new team. He's getting used to his new teammates, and he's getting used to a new position as well. Like he doesn't play in that position. I know I'm kind of repeating what you guys have said. I just think a player of that quality, he doesn't put in subpar performances for long. I just think he deserves a bit of grace, and I look forward to seeing him in another, like, say 7, 8, 9, 10 games where he'll have a bit more experience within his role, and it'll be huge for him when the other players. It's going to be huge for Victor Gyokeres when Havertz comes back. He's going to benefit the most, and equally it's going to be huge for Eze when the likes of Madueke come back and Odegaard, because I think he'll shine. That's another huge part. Like, these guys are playing not in our best team. Like, if everybody's fit, um, like they're filling in nearly for the first teamers in a way. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. And he's shown some moments of quality. Like he won us 3 points against Crystal Palace. So yeah, I'm not worried.
I just want consistency. That's all. I
Yeah.
just want to see consistency from him. It's not good enough. It won't be good enough this season just doing it here and there. The one player I want to say, want to very quickly mention who I'm really impressed with, not just yesterday, but this season, and he's slowly becoming my favourite, is Zubimendi. He just gives you a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 every single game. And he is going under the radar because we have players like Gyökeres, who's the new striker and the new kid in the block, and we've got players like Eze who signed in such funny circumstances, and we've got players like, obviously, Gabriel and Saliba, who are just the Rolls Royce at the back. But Zubimendi is an absolute pleasure to watch. It is unbelievable watching him, especially watching him live. Just the recoveries he makes, the passes he can make, and just the calmness that he brings. I think that was the main thing that I've noticed as well, even yesterday, was he just brings a sense of calmness to the team. He knows when to pass forward, when to pass to the side, when to pass backwards. And I think by the end of this season, we might be sitting here and saying that he's our signing of the season, or even player of the season.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And I think the final player, and I can't believe we haven't really called this out massively. Well, I mentioned it earlier, and who complements Zubimendi is Rice. He was player of the match yesterday. The lawnmower, as I like to call him, he was excellent. He was everywhere, and he won the most. He had the most touches, most duels won, most final third entries, most tackles, most interceptions. He was just monstrous. Yeah, and quite apt for Halloween weekend. And on top of that, we got him half price.
Is that why you still got your mask on, Tab?
Yes. No. Unfortunately, no, this is how I look 24/7, I'm afraid.
Oh, gosh.
There we go. But yeah, look, not bad. He was fantastic. Yesterday, just everything you want from a midfielder, like the complete performance. Yeah, you got to love that, and yeah, it was really, really good to see, and yeah, long may it continue. So
Yeah,
so look,
So
So we're going to stop that.
I
Go on,
just want to say one thing very quickly.
Yeah.
I was laughing. There was a West Ham fan on social media recently. We play our third last game of the season, of the league season, is West Ham away. And he was saying, I can't believe we're going to get relegated by Declan Rice on the same day Arsenal are going to win the league and he's going to win a league title.
We're winning it in March. You're talking about. Okay, look, we're going to stop there for part one, and then we'll come back and finish off with our 3-word reviews, a look at the table, and then a look at Prague. So we'll be back shortly. Okay, so we're back. So yeah, we've got Mos has got a hard stop. Again,
I didn't know what you were going to say there.
Yeah, enough of the shower and bed talk again. So in 20 minutes. So let's get on with it, and we're just going to carry on with our new feature, the 3-word review. So thank you for sending those in. Appreciate it. So we'll start off with what we got on Threads, and apologies, I'm very bad at reading. Just very bad at reading people's names and all the rest of it. So apologies if I will make a hash of it. So start off with and very nice to see that people actually know what 3 words are, unlike the likes of Normie and Moz. But let's leave that for another day. Right, so we start off with Danny Mast on Threads. We are elite. We are indeed. Leg Puppy 2.0, half price Rice. Indeed, we could have paid double and we wouldn't have been bothered.
Tabs, sorry to interrupt. I think you should reply to these 3-word messages with your own 3-word reply.
Oh, for God's sake, we're just going to be here forever.
Start off with "We are elite, we are indeed," and then
I'll let you do that. I've got a life that I need to lead. Robin Ken SF is easy peasy. It was indeed. Jonathan Russell, Stig of the Six, perfectly cromulent win. It was, and another one regarding Declan Rice, the daddy. So he is the daddy. There's no other out there. He is the daddy. Is a Declan Rice masterclass. Indeed, and actually, I used some of that for the pod title. So on to Blue Sky. We had Aaron Kanetsnek. Rice is king. He was indeed yesterday, and I like this one. Sid Silk. We get a couple from him. Sid Silk on B Sky Social. Kavanagh effect nullified. So, I thought it was good. Yeah. The PGML couldn't touch us yesterday on X. If X loads. I like this one from our friends at the North Bank Pod. This was Steph. He put no drama. Stopped at 2 words, could have gone for 3 words, but took the foot off the gas. Very, very apt, very apt. Classic football clocks, class football clock. That will do. It will do indeed. And then we had Nick Cordiolu, same again Tuesday. Yes, please. And John the Gooner again, same old Arsenal. It was indeed. And then we had on TikTok, Sparks, efficient, composed team. Yes, it was. Another rice one from Kea, premium rice pudding. And then someone called Gianluca T14.
I've heard his dad's an absolute knob.
Yeah, I told him he's not getting special treatment. He has to go on the social like everyone else. He said, didn't expect that. Smiley, some sort of emoji. So I'm assuming that was tongue in cheek. And then on to the Grove, our friends on the WhatsApp group in the Grove. We had Normie, clean sheet again, which is he tried to make into one word and had LALA. So Alistair was goals conceded record, ? I think it is. Sensi, let's keep going. Every time I see Henry's name, I want to say it in French. So I'm now just going to commit to saying it in French. So Henri said, business as usual. Shanice, same old Arsenal. Scoring set pieces. So 2, 3 words. There you go. Alex Monroe, job done excellently. Mads was 6 point clear. And then in comes Mods to correct him. It's actually 7 points clear. And then Moz came in with his own. I like this one. My favorite, Declan fucking Rice. It was indeed. And then Dalji with rested Gyökeres awakens. Alan 3 points again. Kusiva, yes, it's Aura. That's following on from my chat on the pod. And then Sasha, who always sends in a 3-word review, which has got nothing to do with the game. And he's one of these ones that's always surprised with the clocks going back that it's dark at 4 p.m. And so every fucking year it's the same. We should be used to it by now. And then finally for me, easy. Who's next? So there we go. So thank you for your 3 words review. I enjoy that. I quite like that. And
I
I'm
can't wait, Ian. I don't know if you're the same, but I can't wait for the moment someone makes an account with a really rude name, like
Yes.
Phil McCracken, and Tabs has to read it out, and he gets done by someone on social media.
I'm just smarting here because he never read mine out.
I've got yours somewhere. Sorry, and I may have just didn't. Go on. Can you remember what you said?
I
'Cause-
do
oh,
remember.
I didn't take it from the other WhatsApp group. So go on, Ian.
I do remember, but I'm going to change it. I just said rice baby, but I'm going to change it to quadruple is on.
Wow.
Well, look at that. It leads me into the next topic. Is that we are top of the league. We played 10, won 8, drew 1, lost 1, scored 18. Oh, so dull. Let in 3. That is dull. Goal difference of plus 15. We've got 25 points. And yeah, it's a bit nuts. And then next up is Bournemouth on 18 points. Liverpool, who finally found their mojo, but I think that was more down to Emery than Liverpool, on 18. But they've only got plus 4, so 7-point difference. I'd say that's near 8-point difference. The Spuds, a bit high up for my liking. They're fourth with 17. Chelsea, fifth with 17 points. Sunderland, sixth with 17 points. Man United, they're their title challenge over and done with in a matter of minutes. They're seventh with 17, and City eighth on 16. So look, Spurs lost the see you next Tuesday versus Clown Car Club derby yesterday. They got booed off. Spence and Van der Ven ignored Frank, and the look on Frank's face. I don't know if you've seen that video,
Yeah.
but he was like, he looked around and was like, and he's got bulging eyes as it is, but these were like really out there. So that was very funny. It's just a shame that Chelsea benefited, and look, even then they didn't look much. And we got a couple of 3-word reviews for this game. So Alex Munro wanted a tactical nuclear strike, and Henri said Spurs are awful, and they were. I said Liverpool got back to winning ways. Emery's such a fraud. He thought he knew better. Everyone's been beating Liverpool with balls over the top, turn the defenders. What does Emery do? I know, I'm going to play it short at the back and see if we can get through that way. And it's like, what the, all right, they had a few chances and they could have taken them, but ultimately Liverpool got the bet. It's like, what are you doing? And then City play Bournemouth today, so let's hope City can do us a favour to keep Bournemouth at bay. There we go. So let's see what happens with that. But anyway, with that, 10 games in, they normally say that's the marker on how the league's settling, how things are going to pan out. You can make a decent assessment. So, are we winning the league in April or May? How do you feel about the current position and future prospects, Mos? I'll come to you.
For the first time on record, I think I will say this season that I do believe we are going to win the league. I know it's very early. I know I've went early. I think others have went earlier as well. But I think just based on what we've seen in the first quarter of the season, I just don't see us faltering. I don't want to predict when it'll be, but I just have a feeling I was letting myself dream. And you know what I'm like with my predictions and whatnot. I always let myself dream
Yeah,
a
they're
little.
rubbish.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much. But I think this is going to be a season where it's our turn to win the league by a huge number of points. And I think that huge number of points could be 14 plus. I think we'll walk the league just like how Liverpool did pretty much last. I know that they never walked it, did they? But I think it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. I don't think we stop winning and maybe have a few draws in there. I don't think we lose again this season. I'll be
Wow.
very
Okay.
surprised if we potentially, to like a City away or something, but that's when when it doesn't really matter because we'll be so far ahead. I just think that it's not that it's written in the stars, but here's a 3-word for you both. Why not us?
Indeed.
Why we've not won the league in so long, and teams do have that, where they do win the league by a huge number of points. Man City and Liverpool are not as good. Man U are not going to be challenging. Tottenham won't challenge. Chelsea won't challenge. Bournemouth and Sunderland will fall away eventually. They're like the elephants on the top of the tree, as we hear so many times. So why not us? Why can't we win the league by 10, 14 points?
No, indeed, we do. We do look good. Again, we're in a nice crest of a wave, shall we say. And we look what happened to Liverpool, but I think everyone could see it was not sustainable. Didn't think they were going to fall off a cliff this much, but there's still only, well, I say only actually. There's 7 points there, practically 8 points behind us. So I think, look, if we can keep this going, keep the momentum going, just keep that gap 6, 7, 5 points plus the goal difference, it just becomes harder and harder to pull that back. And look, we'll be getting into winning season. We'll be in cup competitions. We'll be in Champions League. So we just need to keep that buffer there, that cup buffer there. And I think if we get our players back, the squad's there. It's sort of ours to lose now, and not saying, oh, we have to win and we must win. And if we don't, it's a bottled job, because I'm not having that as bottled, because shit happens and all the rest of it. But it's there for the taking if we want it. So we need to be just professional and keep going on. Ian, how are you feeling about our prospects and whether you're booking a hotel for our parade at Easter?
Well, I was listening to Mos there, and everything he's saying is very, very plausible. Like, what he's saying could happen. Like, it could happen. I'm a little bit more reserved in that. We've seen it so many times before. I don't think at any stage in the last few years have we bottled the league. I think circumstances in some cases went against us, and I think Liverpool were kind of runaway winners last season. If you break the teams down like Mos did, you can forget about everybody except Man City and Liverpool. And even then, Liverpool have lost the same amount of games that they did last season when they won the league. Like, Liverpool nearly have to go unbeaten from here to have a good chance. Man City, if Haaland does his thing, we saw against Aston Villa, and we'll find out today against Bournemouth. If Haaland doesn't score, City don't win. As we just said, a Burnley player is their second highest scorer. So, like, everything's there for us. Like, the season is shaping up in a certain way, and how we defend is so crucial to it all. Because yes, we have all the injuries in the top half of our team, and that's very tough. But if we can nick a goal and we're not conceding, if anything happens, injury-wise, defensively, and we do have great cover, we really do. But if I'll put it this way, if the injury crisis in our forward line was in our back line, and that could happen, that it's only stuff like that I think can stop us. So I'm kind of halfway between Mos and Doom. I think it's there for us, and I think we can do it.
Yeah, can I just say,
hope that kills.
Yeah. Can I just say, as a discussion kind of point, what we need to do is keep doing what we're doing, which is obvious. But you made a really good point, Ian, that Liverpool have lost the same amount of games than they did last season, and they're not going to win every single game from here on in. That's it's highly unlikely that they would. And even for Man City they've lost, is it three games this season?
Yeah.
For them to win every single game, even if Haaland is firing, I just don't. I mean, Man City are a Haaland injury away from what you were just talking about, Ian.
Yeah.
I just think that our players are too good, even who we have on the bench and around the first 11. That this is our season. I just think the quality of the players shows it's our season, and I think we should be a little bit more excited. I think we should. And also, one tweet that I seen, I'm kind of rambling on a little bit, but one tweet that I'd seen, I can't remember who said it, but someone said, enjoy this, enjoy the games that we're playing, enjoy the way we're playing, because this is not going to be forever. There's going to be a time where we see the tougher days again, where we don't win these sorts of games. But when you compare it to last season, when we were drawing these types of games and now we're winning them, just enjoy it. There's another 3 words. Just enjoy it.
Just enjoy it. No, indeed. And it's the way we're playing and everything around it. So it's good. And before we move on to Slavia Prague, Ian, you had a stat. I don't care if it's correct or not. I just want to hear it.
Well, I saw an absolute perler on X yesterday, that and this stat kind of threw me so much that I had to look it up myself. So basically, Spurs got beaten last night. Ha ha ha! It's fantastic. Again, Tottenham get battered even at home, and the stat came out that since Spurs have been at their new stadium, they moved in 2019. They played one game, they lost one game that they moved in on the 3rd of April 2019, so at the end of the season. But since they've been there, they've only lost 6 games less than Arsenal have at the Emirates Stadium since 2006. We gave them a 13-year head start, and they're only 6 defeats away from the same amount of defeats that we've had in that since 2006, and I could not believe that. Now I looked it up and I went back over it all, and I make it 7. We've lost 48 games and they've lost 41, but maybe I miscounted. I don't know, but either way,
maybe did it count last night?
I did actually, because I looked that up.
Okay.
I was like, did they count that? And I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, how on earth is that a thing? And they bang on about that stadium like it's the best stadium in the world. And maybe it looks like and acts like a great stadium. But my God, is there a big bag of shite playing in it?
Well, it is shaped like a toilet bowl. So what do you expect there to be in the middle of it?
The best thing is that Tottenham Hotspur, for our lifetime, will always be in our shadow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's, I am blessed to be living at a time when Arsenal Football Club are better than Tottenham.
Yeah.
And I don't ever see them being a big club. I don't even know why we give them airtime. I don't even know. And as you guys both know, the biggest bugbear for me is when you go to away games and the Arsenal fans sing about Tottenham when we're playing against Port Vale or Burnley. It's just, we shouldn't give them that much thought, because they are not on our level at all.
No, not even close.
Yeah, and look, 6 games, 7 games, that is hilarious. We've given them a 13-year head start, and look where we are. And look, they know who they are.
Sorry, Taz, I just very quickly, because I've just found a tweet, just to give him a shout out. The tweet came from, this is on X, at AFC_Richard. You're a legend, pal.
He is an absolute legend of the Twitter world.
Nice one, Richard. So it's always fun to laugh at them. I don't care, I'd happily sing about how shit they are all the time. It is fine. That club from up the road in Middlesex, they're not even a London club, and they play in an NFL stadium, and which is shaped like a toilet bowl. And what do you expect? It's full of shit. Anyway, there we go. So moving on swiftly from that family show and all that, we play Slavia Prague in the 4th round of the Champions League on Tuesday, 17:45, so it's a 5:45 kickoff. So don't miss that. Guys, what are you looking forward to? Not looking forward to as far as that away game in Prague is concerned. No, Ian, go for it.
I keep doing it. Sorry, you have to be quicker with who the questions are going to. It's hard to know what type of team Slavia Prague are. They've drawn 2 and lost 1 so far. So I'm looking forward to hopefully just being a comfortable win. I think he'll go strong because Bayern Munich are coming up and Inter Milan, so he'll want the 3 points. And I'm not looking forward to just any more potential bloody injuries. We can't afford any more.
Indeed. Mos?
Looking forward to Champions League football. It's an early, I guess that's my not looking forward to, but yeah, looking forward to Champions League football. I do like the Champions League. I'm liking the early kickoff. It just means I can get in my bed a wee bit earlier and
think about Martin Odegaard.
Exactly. And maybe let off some fireworks that night when we win and keep our clean sheet. But not looking forward to. It's away. Czech Republic's not far away, is it? So it's not the end of the world, but it's it's like a little city break for the boys. But just it's one of those games where it's got potential to just
be annoying. I know.
Yeah, annoying. Not even results wise, but just maybe like someone picks up a stupid knock or something like that, and just puts paid to the Premier League a little bit. But I think Arteta will rotate heavily. I think he will.
We'll come to the lineup in a second. We'll come.
Sorry. I'm trying to rush through because I've got a kick-off of my own.
No. We'll get this done. Sorry. Again, like you, just a nice Champions League, comfortable win, job done, 2-0, boring. go home. And it's annoying me that it's an early kickoff because I need to make sure that I haven't got any meetings, or I might have to move some meetings at the time. So Mos, onto the lineup. How do you think we'll go? So the two main things are Zubimendi suspended,
Yeah.
Gyokeres potential injury, and Rice is one yellow away from a suspension that would mean he'd miss the Bayern game. So, and look, we know how stupid, well, how easy the refs in the Champions League can give out yellow cards for very little, and Rice has got 2 yellow cards this season, I think, for very little. Anyway, what are you thinking about in terms of lineup dealing with those sort of 3 primary areas?
I think we have to go with someone like Marino, Norgard, and Eze in the middle. If I'm being honest, I think we cannot afford to lose Rice for Bayern Munich. That's probably the out of all the group games that we're playing, aside from maybe Inter Milan away, I think Bayern Munich at home is the toughest. And so I think he goes with a heavily rotated lineup. I think in fact, I've just seen that you've wrote down Norgard, Marino. I promise I've never seen that.
No, that's fine. It's just that was my opinion.
I think that's the midfield he goes with. I think,
and then if that's the case, then up front, if Gyökeres is injured,
then up front, because obviously we don't have Martinelli to play up front either. So then, what do you do? Do you have to bring in someone like Ethan Nwaneri and play Trossard through the middle and Saka and Nwaneri on either side, and that just shows, as Ian mentioned at the very top of the program, that we do have an injury, not a crisis, but we do have an injury problem because we're having to fit square pegs into round holes.
Ian, would you put Harriman and Noose up front?
No, would I? No, I don't think I would. But I think, and I can see exactly where Mos is coming from. But I think he, as in Arteta, injuries allowing, is going to play as his strongest team. I really do. I think if you start looking at the games coming up, Inter Milan and Bayern Munich, I think he'll want to get 3 points on the board. I know Slavia Prague aren't hugely great shakes in Europe, so he might think he can get away with playing a slightly weaker team. But I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if Declan Rice starts. But what he's going to do up front, if the Gyök and Leo are both injured, I have no idea what he's going to do.
No, I think Leo's fine. It's Nelly, so yeah.
Oh, I mean, Martinelli.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. I've got like Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel Calafiori. Could even have MLS in there. Norgard, Marino, Eze, Saka, Trossard, and then Nwaneri possibly. But then Nwaneri doesn't play in the left. That's Saka. Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know. Maybe Harriman and Noose. Who knows? It's Slavia Prague away. It's Slavia Prague away. Come on. Let's think about it. And talking to Slavia Prague, you're right.
In the league, but they've been really bad in the Champions League.
Yeah, so they're currently, where are they? 27th. So yeah, you're right. They've played 3 games. They drew with Bodo Glimt 2-2. They lost away to Inter Milan 3-0 and drew 0-0 away to Atalanta, which is actually not a bad.
That's a good result. Yeah,
that's a decent result. But they're top of the Czech league. Played 14, won 8, drew 6, scored 24, let in 8. But that's the Czech league. So yeah, it's not a gimme. As Ian said, let's make sure that the games in January are meaningless. So another 3 points, and then away we go. So we've played them once before in the quarterfinals of the 2021 Europa League, drawing 1-1 at our place and beating them 4-0 away. So Mos, before you go, what's your prediction for Slavia Prague versus Arsenal?
5-0 Arsenal.
Woo!
There you go.
He's got 5-0 Arsenal with a weakened team.
Yeah, and as I said, his predictions are terrible.
One
Ian?
day, one of these will. I mean, if I don't even want to see the table of predictions.
I'll do it shortly when I can be bothered.
But yeah, I think 5-0 Arsenal. I think we have enough there.
Okay. So we've got no centre forwards. We've got no midfield, but we're in 5.
I have a funny feeling that Harriman and Noose will score 6 goals and we'll still manage to win 5-0. How about that for a prediction?
All right, I'm not even going to question that because you've got to go. So it can't be bothered. Ian, let's have your sensible prediction.
Yeah, I'm actually going the same as you, Tabs. I think it's going to be a 2-0 win. I think we'll we'll manage ourselves through the game. I think he'll that's why I think he'll play the likes of Rice, but get up by a goal, maybe get the second one, and then start taking players off. I think that's how similar to the Burnley game. Really, I think that's what he'll do.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he will play for Rice because that's what Arteta does. I mean, Rice played in the Real Madrid game on 1 yellow card and didn't get a yellow, but the vagaries of referees and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
I would not play him. But I'm not Arteta, and I know what Arteta's like, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's there. We get a goal, 2 goal, take him off half time. We'll see. But I think it's more important we have him for Bayern. Anyway, there we go. So sorry that's a bit rushed at the end, but that's fine. I think that was a really good pod. Really enjoyed it. So that was some laughs and some good chat. So appreciate it. So Mos, thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And Ian, just tell people what you're doing, where they can find you.
yeah. Well, my all the social media, I'm at @ArsCannonPics, where you send me your cannon, I'll post it eventually. I have got so many. I was just saying, Moz was giving out to me. He sent me a cannon a little while ago, and I was telling him I post them in order, and I have about 90 in my draft. So if you send me a cannon, unfortunately, it'll take about 3 months, but I will post it. So that's what I do.
Very good. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate that. And there we go. So the next show will be post Slavia Prague, pre Sunderland, where I hope to get my Sunderland supporting mate Andy, and who's also a listener to the pod. So get him on the show. He said he's going to be catching up with Gary Neville podcasts in preparation. So let's see what comes out of his gob that day. So anyway, let's see. Right. Anyway, so look, if you enjoy what you hear, please like, subscribe, rate, comment, all that usual thing. Let's get the Grove podcast up on the algorithms. We're doing quite nicely as we are, but we want to do even better. So appreciate all the help we can get. And as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for making it this far, listener. Really appreciate it. And as always, until the next time, come on, you Gunners.